2 whole months of relentless grinding, homing thistle spamming, and kiwi beast bouncing have led to this moment. So far we've made it through all but 3 worlds unscathed by this ridiculous challenge. All but Jurassic Marsh, Big Bastard Beach, and Modern Day have been beaten with just 1 lane of lawn. Can we beat these 3 final worlds in this grueling challenge? Leave your predictions in the comments and let's get into it. If you don't know the rules for the challenge, allow me to break it down for you. Okay, but seriously, if you're not up to date with the challenge, then go watch part 1 right now, then come back to this video. But you better come back to this video or else I will lay a potato mine on your doorstep. Some of you were saying in the last video that I depend on homing thistle too much for this challenge, so for this world I decided I'd see how far I could get without using homing thistle. Day 1 was possible by slowly letting the zombies clump up in the middle lane with sweet potato, then unleashing them on our kiwi beast so that they could get damaged to full size. Then we just repeated that multiple times by planting a new kiwi beast in front of the old kiwi beast to grow more and more. In case you didn't know, full-size kiwi beasts hit all 5 lanes, so we could do this to get around the homing thistle's absence. Whenever a tanky zombie on the top or bottom lane got through, we could just time warp them back to the start to walk through death row once more. However, nothing about day 1 was really Jurassic, it was just a basic old marsh. The Jurassic part of Jurassic Marsh really kicked in on day 2, introducing the raptors. Yet somehow our animated fruits were more powerful than actual dinosaurs. Maybe we finally do know what really made them extinct. We used the same strategy again in day 4, but with a powered infinite as well, to really make sure the zombies never made it past the kiwi fruit conga line of destruction, even with raptors booting them along. In day 5 we managed to pile up an even heavier arsenal of kiwi beasts. If you're wondering why Kiwi Beast is so great in this world, it's because unlike Neon Mixtape Tour, the majority of this world's zombies kill it by biting it. In fact, the only zombie in this world that doesn't is the Gargantua. So basically we just came from a world where Kiwi Beast was useless because everything would insta-kill it before it could grow up, to a world where basically every zombie is forced to bite it until it grows to queso size. Get him out of here! You're done! Stegosauruses made their way into day 6, upping the difficulty a smidge. We had a really good run until 1 fossil head survived with literally 1 kiwi beast hit of health left. This just goes to show that while kiwi beasts are doing the job on their own for now, they're far from a reliable defense without homing thistle to pick off the leftovers. But in the very next attempt, I made sure I could keep the top lane lawnmower until the end of the level so I could mow his ass down. Day 8 was pretty good, but again a zombie slipped through the top lane. However, I used Time Warp to send him back to the front of the lawn. We unlocked Time Warp in the last world and it's proving really useful now. This is because it can send the whole lawn of zombies back to the beginning, despite only being planted in our 1 lane, kind of like Blover. Its ability is especially useful here because the dinosaurs keep pushing zombies right up the lawn and past our kiwi beasts. Pterodactyls appeared on day 10, but they're kind of pointless in this challenge because 80% of the time they actually help us by turning zombies backwards in other lanes so they pose no threat. But to prepare for that 20% of pterodactyl that spawn in our lane, I brought Hurricane to push zombies back when they dropped off. But the level was so easy that we never even had to do this. We swept through the next 5 levels with no problems. On day 18 we encountered some, minor issues. The new T-Rexes shook up things more than all of the other dinosaurs combined. That's because, well, look at this mess. I found that using Hurricane to counter the pterodactyls was a better idea on paper because it also pushes back all the zombies in our lane that we actually want to reach the kiwi beast so they can bite them to let them grow. But with Hurricane the kiwi beast wouldn't grow because we kept shoving all the zombies away from them. So I switched Hurricane for Perfume Shroom, which deals with the pterodactyl without affecting the zombies. But even this wasn't cutting it. So we had to call in homing thistle for the first time in this world. I know, I folded, but I think we did pretty well all things considered, going a little over halfway through Jurassic Marsh with no homing thistle at all. But even after we brought back homing thistle, the level was seeming damn near impossible. I realized that the main problem was that, believe it or not, we actually didn't have enough seed slots. And that's coming from the guy who's played through the whole game with only 1 seed slot. The level would have been a lot easier with sweet potato and cherry bomb, but every single other plant we were using was essential, so we had to sacrifice sweet potato. Or did we? I didn't actually know this, but we can rent an extra seed slot for only a few coins. This doesn't go against any rule we have, and let's be honest, that many coins is basically nothing, even in a free-to-play run. With the extra seed slot, the level was still extremely difficult, but possible in the end. T-Rexes are definitely going to be a pain in most levels from here on out. On day 20, I realized if you use the button to select the same plant lineup as the last level, you get the extra seed slot for free without having to rent it. I'm pretty sure PopCap didn't intend this, so don't tell them about my in-game tax evasion. A quick update from Future Koala here though, so I tried recreating this bug later in the run and for some reason it just wasn't working. So I have no idea why it only worked here, but anyway, let's continue. At the end of the level I was playing as normal when all of a sudden we lost out of nowhere. I was so confused because we had all 5 lawnmowers, so there was no way I could lose so suddenly, unless a zombie jumped over the mower or something. So I watched back the footage and I was just blind for some reason. I couldn't see the clear absence of a mower in the bottom lane. So on the next attempt, I made sure I kept an eye on the lawnmowers. But by doing so, I completely forgot to produce enough sun since this level has a 2000 sun quota. Trying to beat this fairly straightforward level was like pulling teeth because of my inability to multitask. Third time's a charm though. But it nearly wasn't, because a Gargantua spawned in a lane with no mower. But the Stegosaurus actually clutched up and flung it to a lane where there was a mower. So far those Stegosauruses have actually been helping us way more than they've been hindering us. Day 21 had a bunch of dinosaurs everywhere, and again, the Stegosaurus actually saved us by flinging all the outer lane zombies into the middle lane so we could cherry bomb them all. Forget homing thistle and kiwi beasts, Stegosaurus is the real MVP of the run. We beat the last stand level, day 22, on the first try with this mess of a setup that somehow worked. We unlocked Primal Potato Mine on day 23. I thought its plant food ability would be really broken for this challenge since it can clone itself and fling the clones to other lanes, but it's extremely reliant on the best 2 features of game design: RNG and luck. Don't get me wrong, it's still good, but not as overpowered as I was hoping. It took numerous attempts to beat day 24 because the T-Rexes kept making the bully zombies hobble along faster, but I just used plant food exclusively on Infinite to stop this. Day 25 introduced the Ankylosaurus, and I thought the T-Rex was bad. This guy is a whole new level of ridiculous. Just watch what happens to the first zombie of this level. There's actually nothing we can even do about that, except sacrifice our mower. I tried this level using our normal strategy for about an hour with no luck, so I began changing up our plant selection. Due to the really fast-paced nature of the level, Twin Sunflower is just too slow and unnecessary to justify using. So we swapped it out for Primal Sunflower, which worked a lot better. This level was so chaotic that I need to take you step by step, wave by wave, so allow me to break it down for you once again. Okay, for real though, it would take 10 whole minutes to explain how I beat this one, so instead I'll just bring up the key points. First, sweet potato zombies in the middle where the raptors can't kick them, sacrifice some mowers and place a time warp. Then we had to place plant food on a primal potato mine and pray that one of the clones landed on this exact tile down here. If it didn't land on that one individual tile, we had to reset the level and try again. Trust me, this happened a lot. After this, there were a lot more precise placements and strategies which, combined with hours of attempts, let us finally beat the level. If you want to see exactly how I did it, I'll be uploading the full run on my second channel, where I upload full unedited runs of particularly difficult levels from my main channel challenge videos. If you want to go watch that now, there'll probably be a little card that pops up around now and a big arrow on screen pointing to it. Wow, isn't that magical? But if you click on that card, just remember what'll be waiting for you outside your doorstep if you don't come back and watch the rest of this video afterwards. Oddly enough, day 26 was basically an easier day 25. The mold colonies didn't change anything because our homing thistles don't care about them at all. Just like in the last level, Primal Potato Mine's plant food ability was super useful. Days 27 and 28 were both first try victories. Day 28 in particular was like an easier day 25, so my muscle memory kicked in with the strats and tech of that level. Day 30 was the last level for the world, and it was just as easy. Even though there were a lot of gargantuas, pulling zombies with sweet potato to clump them together for Primal Potato Mine was just too good of a strategy. There were some moments where the game tried to get us with T-Rex boosted gargantuas, so I pulled the gargantuas to the middle with sweet potatoes so the T-Rexes were left to make fools of themselves. Nice try, Jurassic Marsh, we avoided your trickery this time around. But will Big Wave Beach also be possible? Let's find out. And now we arrive at the notoriously difficult Big Wave Beach, which also happens to be Homing Thistle's home world. I bet he's been waiting a long time for this. The first 3 levels were all very ordinary with our old reliable strategy and Magnet Shroom added on for extra buckethead protection. But there will be a plant that we unlock in this world that may change things up dramatically. At long last, we can finally use Lily Pad in one of these challenges, so that's definitely a relief. But this comes at a cost of Primal Potato Mine, which will be nearly useless here since it can't be planted on water or lily pads. Snorkeler zombies emerged in day 6, but our homing thistles can surprisingly hit them when they're submerged. This plant is the gift that keeps on giving. Unless the opponent is Jester or Excavator, of course. And if you thought we'd seen the last of those 2 zombies in part 2, then you're in for a rude awakening later in this video. Day 7 was completely submerged underwater, but that wasn't too much of a problem since, again, we can use lily pads and our homing thistles hard counter snorkelers. Kiwi beasts also hit the snorkelers underwater, so I knew they weren't going to be a problem at all in this run. The same reasons made day 9 just as easy, despite also being completely submerged apart from the mold colony. Day 11 featured surfer zombies, who weren't a real threat either because they got absolutely annihilated by all of our homing thistles the moment they got past our kiwi beasts. If they even did get past our kiwi beasts, that is, which was highly unlikely. Day 12 was the last stand level where kiwi beasts just absolutely carried. We lost some lawnmowers to a rapid onslaught of surfers halfway through day 13, but the rest of the level was a piece of cake. We started out very strong on day 15. Okay, but on the next attempt we basically won, but the potato mines decided to blow up some of the last zombies in the level. The next time around I used time warp to solve that issue. And at last, the dreaded octo zombies debuted on day 17, but there were only a few of them scattered across the level so kiwi beasts could handle them well. But I just knew they were going to start spamming them a lot later in this world. Day 19 was easy because, again, the devs hadn't got trigger happy with the octopi yet. However, day 20 turned out kind of hard. We edged the gargantua at the end for what felt like 20 minutes, but it still somehow got through. After building up more homing thistles in the next attempt, we won. Fisherman zombies were introduced in day 22. This is usually the part of the game where I talk about why this guy will be such a pain in the ass, but for this challenge, Fisherman zombie isn't that bad. No, it's not opposite day, you heard me right. Fisherman isn't hard. Why? Well, every fisherman that spawns outside our lane is useless. Since we can't plant anything in those lanes, those fishermen kinda just sit there waiting to die. But in the 1 in 5 chance that the fisherman shows up in our lane, we can just insta-kill it with Tangle Kelp most of the time. At least one of the 2 big wave bitches is kind of handleable in this challenge. Day 23 was a save our seeds level, and it's usually a lot harder, but because of what I just said 5 seconds ago, the level was possible with ease. But playtime's over now because day 25 was absolute mayhem. The level's fine until we get to the end where there's this one completely insufferable low tide that spawns a bunch of zombies right in the middle of the lawn, including a whole gargantua, and on top of that you can't spend more than 3,000 sun. So a lot of the time I'd get up to this low tide and then blow a bunch of sun trying to deal with all the chaos, only to go over the sun limit anyway. Before this level it was all sunshine and rainbows, but now this is the big wave beach I remember, that's for sure. But I eventually figured out that the trick to beat this one was to spend all 3,000 sun solely defending octo zombies, then plant homing thistles to just last long enough until the final wave. Then we could just barely let all of the lawnmowers mow down the remaining zombies. I'm not gonna lie, this level had me nervous for what was coming next. But my fears were tempered in day 27, which was a game changer. And for once, that isn't because of the zombies, but rather the plants. Or should I say plant, because that plant is Banana Launcher. Remember how I said there would be a plant in this world that mixes things up? Yeah, here it is. Banana Launcher is great for countering the octo zombies, who are the one lot of zombies screwing us up right now. With Banana Launcher we can directly eliminate them no matter where they are on the lawn. This wasn't possible with homing thistle since octo zombies are slower than all the other zombies, which let them hide behind those other zombies and slowly octopus all of our plants. But now that we had Banana Launcher, I could both attack the octo zombies directly at the source and destroy the squids themselves on command, both impossible tasks with homing thistle. So popping down 1 or 2 Banana Launchers in our lane made this level a breeze, since we finally had some sort of control over both of this world's hell spawns. Should I even say world though? This place has become more like an institution at this point. Even with all of what I just said about being on top of the octo zombies and fisherman zombies, day 28 still managed to be a nightmare. That's probably because this is considered as one of the hardest levels, if not the hardest level in Plants vs Zombies 2. And we're beating it with 1 lane. Yay! In case you've never had the opportunity to get fondled by this level, the main challenge here is that we can't lose more than 5 plants, including lily pads. This is excruciatingly harsh given that they send a lot of fishermen and gargantuas throughout the level. Despite all of this, I could actually make it to the last wave fairly consistently. But the final wave looks like this. Yeah, no, this is just pure evil. A big issue here is that Kiwi Beast could rip up this low tide with some plant food, but in doing so, we have to create more lily pads, since using plant food on Kiwi Beast also plant foods a lily pad underneath it, and those extra spawned lily pads could easily get destroyed by zombies since they're so far up the lawn. I mean, look at where they spawn because of this. That far up the lawn and they're basically asking to be eaten or hooked up. This caused us to lose multiple times. However, I realized that if I could spam 2 kiwi beast plant foods in quick succession, we could avoid this problem since the zombies get killed before they can kill the lily pads. The only zombies that were tanky enough to survive a double kiwi beast pounding were then cleaned up by the lawnmowers. So we could just barely beat this level. Honestly, when I first tried this one, I fully believed it would be the first impossible level. But surprisingly, we're yet to face an impossible level. Since day 29 and day 30 were both oddly easy, that stands true for all of Big Wave Beach. I can't believe all of Jurassic Marsh and Big Wave Beach were possible, but we're on the home stretch now and all we've got left is modern day, and this challenge could be 100% successful. So let's get into it right now. Day 1 was really easy, which is no surprise. But I also discovered that the same strategy to move plants to other lanes, which was possible in Dark Ages, is also possible in this world, except with portal spawns instead of gravestone spawns. The portal here spawned on the same tile as our twin sunflower, which pushed it up by 1 lane. This also happened to our magnet shroom on day 2. I didn't really know if it would be useful in the grand scheme of things though, because portals spawn far less in this world than gravestones spawn in Dark Ages. We had no problems beating day 4, but day 5 was a little tough because of the new newspaper zombies. But I've gotten through worlds like Neon Mixtape Tour, Jurassic Marsh and Big Wave Beach. Some old guy holding a newspaper upside down isn't gonna stop me. I used Time Warp to stall out the final wave to meet the sun goal on day 6. I also found out that sheep still produce sun on sun tiles. I've probably played through this whole game 10 times by now across 11 years, and yet there's always something I learn in each playthrough. Day 7 was a whole lot of fun, as you can see by this wonderful zombie lineup. And guess who decided to make a return? The Dark Ages portals were really messing us up thanks to these jesters. I thought I'd never have to see their faces again, but to counter them we could just use Kiwi Beast and Banana Launcher without homing Thistle. We were having some Discotron problems in day 10, so I brought back Blover, which beat the level with the help of Final Wave lawnmowers as usual. Day 11 was easy, but day 12 definitely wasn't. Dinosaurs, chickens, excavators, all of my past trauma flooded back at me as I tried to ward off these pesky fellas that I thought I'd never have to deal with again. We eventually got on a run which was extraordinarily close, but I time warped just a millisecond too late to catch a Gargantua. The next time around we burned him to a crisp with Lightning Reed's plant food though. Day 15 assaulted us with balloon zombies, imp cannons and relic hunters all at the same time. But literally all of these zombies we could handle with Blover, so I did exactly that. The start of Modern Day Part 2 was really easy for some reason. We flew through days 17, 18 and 20 with no issues. Day 21 was going just as easily as the other levels, until an octo zombie spawned from a Big Wave Beach portal and caused us to lose at the last second. So I thought, well, second try and we'll get it, right? But I was far from right. Needless to say, we were having some all-star problems. These guys charge straight down the lawn and if they're not in our lane, there isn't much we can do about them apart from trying to hit them with our plant's various plant food abilities. But the level just sends them over and over and over again in the same 2 lanes until they break through to our house. I realized that by getting very lucky with Primal Potato Mine plant foods, we could get them to land in front of the all-stars. So after some hours of grinding the level over and over and over again until we got all the right Primal Potato Mine landing positions, we were able to clear the level. Day 23 was a smooth victory, but one newspaper zombie slipped through on day 24. We beat it on the next attempt though. Day 26 also took a few attempts, this time for the same reason as day 21, the All-Stars. I just repeated the level until we got the right Primal Potato Mine landings. Wizards and the Produce Sun criteria combined on day 28 for a pretty fun challenge. This is because it's like a tug of war between you planting sunflowers and your wizards turning them to sheep. We won just by blowing up as many wizards as possible and spamming as many twin sunflowers as possible. I thought day 29 would be really bad because it had dinosaurs, but I kid you not, the only dinosaur that appeared in the whole level was this raptor in the middle lane here. And now we reach the final level, or the final boss fight if you will. What's the boss that we fight? These stupid, wretched, annoying little flowers. I tried beating this level with our regular strategy, but that was quite obviously not going to work. So then I tried using Infinite's plant food to hold off the zombies from the flowers. But amongst all the bucketheads, football zombies, and even gargantuas, this strategy was doomed from the very beginning. One thing to note about this level was the one minecart. If you remember back to the first episode, we can plan on minecarts as long as they're in our lane initially, but after that we can move the minecart around freely. I decided to try using Squash, who's never seen the light of day in this challenge. Why would I do that? Well, Squash has just enough range to launch himself at the zombies before they cross our flowers, or while they're trying to eat our Infinites barrier. So by planting a Squash on the minecart, we could move it anywhere to eliminate whichever zombie was next. But as the level ramped up, one Squash at a time was sadly nowhere near enough. It was better late than never, Squash. So what now? Honestly, I was out of ideas. But I couldn't give up on the very last level of the challenge, that just wasn't an option. We'd come all of this way, hundreds of levels, months of grinding. I wasn't going to let this challenge end like that. So since I couldn't beat the level, I decided to see if any of you guys could. I made a community post challenging all of you to beat this level with the rules of the challenge, half expecting nobody to be able to do it, because deep down, I was convinced this level was impossible. But to my surprise, literally a few hours after my post went up, people already started beating the level. The first person to beat the level was Dememes, whose strategy was completely different to mine. First of all, they used Sunshroom instead of Twin Sunflower, which makes sense because of how fast paced the level is. But the real difference here was that they didn't use Squash, Kiwi Beast, or even Homing Thistle. Instead, they used Magnifying Grass on the minecart. By stalling out the zombies as long as possible to produce sun and chip away at the zombies with Magnifying Grass, they managed to win. But there was still a question on my mind. Was it possible with the current version of the game? In my post I allowed any version of the game. Dememes used quite an old version which allowed them to use the Spring Bean plant food blowover combo on the final wave, which isn't possible in the current version of the game, which I was playing on for the rest of the challenge. But I soon received an answer as another run, this time in the modern version of the game, was submitted to me from Discord user Ichimiku. Their run also used Magnifying Grass but differed in the use of Tile Turnip to produce extra sun to demolish the final wave instead of using the Spring Bean tech. I was honestly shocked that I never thought of using Tile Turnip in the whole run. So congrats to Dememes and Ichimiku for beating the level. And with modern day 30 complete, the only levels that remained were the Zomboss conveyor battles, which as usual, we could skip. So that's it. This is usually where I'd announce the exact percentage of the game that was possible, but this whole challenge was actually possible. It wasn't easy, but we conquered all 11 worlds with just one lane of lawn. So thanks for everyone who watched the journey unfold, like and subscribe if you want more challenge videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.